Hello viewers, welcome to this week's episode of Health Watch on Advent Cable Network Nigeria, ACNN. I am Angela Emeka Evibo. At recent report, over 780 laboratory confirmed cases of monkeypox have been reported to or identified by the World Health Organization from 27 member states across the World Health Organization regions that are non-endemic for monkeypox virus. As of June this year, there have been no recorded deaths associated with the current monkeypox outbreak in these non-endemic regions. However, cases and deaths continue to be reported from endemic countries. Now, what do we mean by endemic and non-endemic regions? Now, the endemic regions are geographical regions where a particular disease is prevalent or common, while a non-endemic region are regions where a particular disease is not prevalent or common. So Europe, America, and the Asian region are non-endemic to monkeypox, while West Africa and some African countries are endemic region to monkeypox. Until now, the Democratic Republic of Congo and Nigeria seem to top the table in suspected and confirmed cases of monkeypox. The situation is evolving, and the World Health Organization expects that there will be more cases identified as the outbreak progresses and as surveillance expands in both endemic and non-endemic regions. So, on the program today, we want to understand monkeypox, especially prevention. My guest on the program is Dr. Chijioke Onwuchekwa. He is a clinical microbiologist. You're welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you so much, Angela. It's a pleasure being here.
It's good to finally have you on the program.
Thank you so much. Really grateful.
Thank you for coming. So we are discussing monkeypox.
Right.
We seem to, after COVID, I think this is the second word that's becoming popular in the media, and I think it's important we talk about it because the cases seem to be rising, you know, on a daily basis, especially in this region. So, but let's start first. What is monkeypox? You know, when you hear the word monkeypox, it has nothing to do with monkey, obviously. So what is monkeypox?
All right, thank you so much again. Now, monkeypox is simply a viral disease that is known to have a zoonotic activity. Zoonotic is simply that it can actually move from animal to man.
All right.
So it can move from monkey to man. And hearing about monkeypox, it's not necessary that monkeys are the reservoirs. They're not.
Okay.
Because monkeys also suffer from the same disease.
All right.
And the first time it was actually detected was actually among monkeys kept for research purpose back in 1958.
Okay.
So from then it was known to be monkeypox. However, as we're going to progress, we just discover that monkeys are not really the reservoir. So it's a disease that actually is known to come with both systemic and then physical challenges. That's just a brief monkeypox.
Monkeypox. So, you know, back then we used to talk about smallpox, which somehow you don't hear about it again. And then you have chickenpox. Are they related in any way? Is it a similar virus changing, or this is just a layman trying to think of what could... Are they the same thing? Are they similar?
No, not at all. First, when you talk about pox virus, you are talking about a family of virus that have related issues or characteristics. Now, the monkeypox, when you look at it under an equipment known as the electron micrograph, it is usually oblong shape with a very thick layer surrounding it. And now the pox virus share that same shape. Once it moves from a particular reservoir, usually this reservoir are animals that carry them without suffering that disease.
Okay, that's what you mean by reservoir.
Yes.
So they're carrying them,
yes,
but they're not suffering from
it. It's just
it.
like pigs are reservoir for hepatitis. They don't suffer hepatitis B, but they are reservoirs.
Okay.
They move about with that virus, and then, but once it comes into human, so the pox virus, there are several of them. You can, just as you had monkeypox, there's also smallpox, there's cowpox, there's hawkspox, there's raccoon pox, and then there's coonpox. Then ectromelia is also a form of, it's a kind of rodent. They also have their own kind of pox. So, but this one, why it is called monkeypox is simply that it is a disease that monkeys suffer.
Okay.
And then it can move from monkey to animal or through other medium. That is just why it is called monkeypox.
Monkeypox.
Yes.
No, okay.
It's different from chickenpox. It's also different from the cowpox. It's different from horsepox.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's different from smallpox, the ones that we no longer hear about.
Yes,
But because of the issues now, the name smallpox is gradually coming up. We're going to see the reason why it's going to come
because
up
I'm
again.
wondering, because somehow you're beginning to hear smallpox again,
Yes.
which I want to, initially was said to have been eradicated. So if
Yes.
you've gone to school, they'll say, okay, smallpox has been eradicated,
Yeah.
But now you're beginning, since monkeypox started coming, or smallpox,
Yes.
they started hearing but before we look at why the smallpox is coming up,
Yes.
one of the questions I wanted to ask is, why is this endemic
Okay.
to the African region? You see that we have a problem in Africa that every bad thing seems to come from here. But why is it okay? Because there are countries that are recording it, and the way of course the media is reporting it,
Yeah.
they're trying to trace it still to coming from West Africa and some African regions.
Okay.
They seem to be coming from there because it's not endemic to them. It's not.
Okay.
So what's particular about our region that?
Well, there's nothing wrong with our region. You see, when you talk about infectious and contagious disease, why it's going to spread and then have a wider attention is simply because of our environment and our way of life. If you live communally, you're bound to have challenges with contagious infections. If you live isolation determines that will limit it. And then the hygienic condition within a system will also determine how the disease is going to spread. Then our lifestyle. Because if we are still interacting with animals, particularly wild animals, which sometimes we consider them as part of our meal, it's possible that diseases from those animals will easily come to the human population. Because by the arrangement we normally have traditionally for hunting, if you go to hunt a game, it is possible that that game was actually killed by a trap, and the animal is also diseased. You take it that way and go home. You don't care about it. Nobody goes to hunting with hand gloves. So droppings from animals are definitely going to be part of what you are going to come into contact with. Again, when you go into some of our vegetation, the animals we are talking about also feed on fruits. While they are taking their own meal too, they are dropping urine and everything. And you can also imagine that when you go into a forest and then you find some fruit there, most of the time you don't wash it, you just pluck it from there.
Yeah.
Particularly the low-hanging fruits. Bats will have actually had its own droppings there. Monkeys will have had it. Squirrels will have had it. So when you have such accumulations of infested fruits, people go to eat it. There and there, you get infected by that. So that lifestyle can actually promote. Unlike in the West, where when you bring such things, they completely ban wildlife being eaten in the West. And then for the purpose of, trying to maintain personal hygiene, you will need to wash fruit before you take it. So when we now say things are endemic, primarily is because of our lifestyle. 2, we live communally. 3, we have a little bit of poor knowledge about some of the diseases. When people come down with diseases, first of all, they actually blame their enemies or blame some unknown things, or blame whoever they think is not wishing them well. And then we tend to battle with those things for a while. see whether it's going to go off, or go for some of the common remedies we
Yes.
have. And now it will have gone beyond that point. So from that place, it can start spreading from one person to person contact, and spread will now come up from there.
So with what you've described now, so it has a lot to do with the kind of people we are.
Beautiful,
It's
our
not
lifestyle.
that we are. It's not that there's a problem with us, or we are.
No, no,
cursed,
no,
it's
we're
just
not, we're not.
the way we have.
Yeah.
Because that's what some of these things actually start up in the rural areas.
Beautiful.
Where there's still that communal living,
Yes.
and then you still find out that in the cities
Yeah.
there seems to be a bit of control.
Beautiful.
On this. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So we're not cursed in Africa.
No, no, we're not. We are blessed.
We are
blessed. We are
really-
blessed.
Yeah, we're really blessed. So
Yes.
you've touched a little bit on the question I wanted to ask, is that
Okay.
the means of transmission, which
Yeah.
you've talked about a little bit, you know, from the drop-ins, which sometimes even when we go and pluck our fruits and we
Yeah.
don't clean it,
Yeah.
the same washing and hygiene,
Yeah.
you know. So what are the other ways that this is being transmitted?
All right.
From whether it's from animal to human, or from human to human, or how? What are the means of
Yeah, the
transmission?
mode of transmission is first from animals to humans.
Okay.
Now, this part of the world, we still actually eat rodents, or what we call bushmeat. Squirrels, the bigger rats, or what we call what do they call this now, grass cutters, and we still feed on them.
Yeah.
And now, just look at the typical thing that happen when you go to take some of these rodents, the bigger ones. People kill them, cut them, dress them up. Of course, sometimes the blood touches on the person, it cleanses on his clothes, and then I continue. Now, when an animal is infected, and you now go to touch the droppings or fluid from the body, you are likely to also be infected by that.
Okay.
That's from animal to man, okay? And now, monkeys as well are kept as pets sometimes. People get monkeys from the wild and keep them as pets. And they don't bother whether they are sick or not. They just want to have them. You've seen pictures that people backing monkeys
Yeah.
and then embracing monkeys. They don't bother about that. So animal to humans are one way. And then when a person is infected, that same virus actually builds up in both the salivary gland. It also appears in the papules, particularly once the papules, what the pimple-like things, comes, or the pustules breaks off. We hug each other. We shake. We also maybe embrace each other. Now, that's also one way it can go. Then, when you also have animals that have actually infested food materials, if you go along our roads now, you definitely see people drying their foodstuff along the road.
Yeah.
Call it cassava, call it some other grains, okay? Animals from the nearby vegetation can also come there and feed part of it, okay? And also while they are feeding on it, they leave their droppings. Later in the day, we sweep it everything and gather into the bag.
Without
Now,
even looking.
yeah, when it is for granite, sometimes also people go to bread. They say, let me test this, your fresh granite. And that's how they can get infected. And then we also have the nosocomial infection, that infection from hospitals,
Okay.
particularly hospitals that are not properly kept. People who have these diseases can actually, by their body secretion, stain beds. And in hospital management, it is required that you change the beddings every day.
Every day, which sometimes may not happen.
Yes. Most of the time it may not happen. Well, we have discharged this fellow. Another person comes there and lie down. He didn't come with that disease. He came with some other thing.
Somebody's, yeah.
And then he comes there and then it's okay, this is your own bed. The beddings that was meant for this other one, we've not even changed it. So these things happen in hospital. And then under emergency condition, you rush somebody to the hospital. Yes, he might be sick or infected with that disease. You just pull him up and then take him to the bed. You that you are managing him,
Yeah.
you might also get infected.
Infected as well.
And then there's a congenital When a mother is infected with monkeypox, she can transmit it to the child.
All right, okay.
Yes. That's the monkeypox that now comes onto a newborn baby. So those are the ways that this thing moves from one person to the other.
Yeah.
And then in a concentrated place, particularly places where you hold human beings, call it detention center,
centers, yes.
call it prison, call it even sometimes our crowded bus. I know people definitely, shoulder to shoulder, they are standing.
Yeah. Sweats, do you do sweats, you know?
The shoulder to shoulder, they are
Shoulder,
standing.
yeah.
And then something triggers or, sneezing. Now you sneeze, you release the whole thing. And the person nearby, all you need to do is say sorry. But even though that sorry will have also discharged the droppings from you. So that is where the nasal moved, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
And then for those who are in love, couples, well,
Yeah.
if the mouth is already having the pustules, well, husbands can still kiss their wives.
And transmit.
Yes.
So it's reserved in anywhere that contains fluid.
Beautiful.
That's
The blood,
any blood fluid
the
interaction.
saliva.
Yeah.
Most of the time now, studies have also been done. It has also been found that the virus appeared in vaginal secretions and semen.
So it's of course that's one common thing I know about viruses.
Yeah.
They must live on fluid to survive.
Yeah.
Most
They
of
need a
them, yes.
medium
They
to
need a
move from
medium
one
to move
place to the other.
from one place to
Yes.
another. So let me look at regions now. Let's
Okay.
come home to Nigeria,
Okay.
because when you're describing the kind of lifestyle, I'm trying to think round the country.
Okay.
When I was doing the little research, I found out that in most part of the northern part of the country, they had reported more cases or suspected cases
Yeah.
than if you're coming from the eastern region of the country. Would that still be peculiar to the lifestyle there? Because I'm trying to think, I don't know how to say if the lifestyle is more in the particular region in the country that's reporting more of the cases than just to buttress, what we
Yeah.
are talking about. I don't know if that's
No, behavioral trend in any part of the world will determine how some of these things is going to spread. Now, if you look at the northern Nigeria, people still live communally.
communally, yeah.
Yes. Our home settings are the ones that you really find spaces much. And then when a place is crowded, it means that infection is likely going to spread more.
Yeah.
Then agricultural practices are still very, very much there. The wildlife there is still very rich in some part, okay? People still go into thick vegetation, either to gather woods or sometime to get games, or what we call bushmeat. So when you find that kind of activity that is prevalent there, it's also going to go with such diseases and they are spread. So that is why in northern Nigeria, where you have cluster settlement, anybody who comes in with that is bound to pass it to another person. That's where we have it.
Yeah.
But where you have an improved form of hygiene, you are likely going to have less of that.
Of that, yeah.
Yes, so that is what explains that.
Okay.
And also know that the equatorial region, people who move around the equatorial region in Africa, from the Central African Republic, they can come over to Chad. From Chad, they move into Nigeria. From northern Cameroon, they move into Nigeria. And that is how they move.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
the trade route, if you check, it's going towards that direction.
Okay, so let's talk about the symptoms
Okay.
of monkeypox. I saw some gory pictures online,
Okay.
because I don't think I've ever seen a monkeypox case. I know what chickenpox looks like, because
Okay.
I had one when I was in secondary
Okay.
school.
Okay.
So it was really itchy and very. So what's the symptom for monkeypox? What should people be looking at? And
Okay.
afterwards, one of the things, okay, when we're done with that, because I also want to know how people can report. Who are we reporting to? Where do we go to report if I notice the symptom? Do I just stay in my house and treat myself. So
Okay.
the first question is, so what are the symptoms?
Yeah,
of
before the
monkeypox?
symptoms appear, you are going to have an invasion period, or what sometimes is called an incubation period,
Okay.
between 1 and 5 days.
So at this time, you don't even know what is going
Yes. So that's the invasion period, okay? So after that invasion period, well, sometimes it also depends on the person's immune status,
okay.
the health person, the status, okay? Now, since studies have been done and it has proven that those who have the smallpox vaccine are less susceptible to it.
Okay.
Yes. And then the immunocompetency of the individual will also determine when the symptom is going to appear. Yes. People who have underlying problem are likely going to exhibit that much earlier, maybe 3 days.
Okay.
Malaise, that is fever. You have muscular pain. And then you have this severe headache that would definitely be nagging. And then there's this fatigue. So those are mainly the symptom at the invasion period. So looking at that, you definitely know that it's similar to other
Yeah,
infection.
that's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah, it's similar to other infection. But what would differentiate it is that simply that in the next 5 days after that symptoms have dragged, when all the known treatment, particularly against fever, malaria and typhoid, is not really making any difference, then that is when the papules or the pimple-like thing will start appearing at the extremities. So these are the first signs. The pimple are your palms, the face, the limbs, the genitals, it also appear there. So that now gets to the skin eruption stage. Because once that appears, it means the beginning of the skin eruption stage. So the itch will start building up. Most time people feel, well, it is allergy, okay? But to help understand why it is a little bit different from allergy is that this same pimple-like kind of presentation is not going to appear on the trunk.
Okay.
Yes, the trunk of the body.
Body, okay, so the
Yes.
one to trunk of the body.
Yes, we're looking at right from the shoulder to the pelvic
the-
region.
okay.
Yes, it's not going to appear there. But at the extremities, you're going to see that coming up.
All right, okay.
Yes. So they start building in a circular form, first of all. Then it forms the pustules. Pustules are usually, you see the fluid that they are colorless.
Okay, it starts
Yes.
coming out from the...
Yes, colorless, okay?
Okay.
Then it moves over to the papules. So the papules are now that same kind of growth now, or present, that will come with called yellowish fluid. And then it breaks off and creates that scar.
All right.
Yes, so that same people, I think, can actually appear on the eyelids. It can also appear on the cornea. And that will affect the vision of the person.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
I see.
So by then, beyond the symptoms, the person will have started having what is known as social degradation.
Yeah, because of the look of...
Yes, no, because once you appear with some rashes unnecessary, it's going to degrade you socially. People are going to ask questions. They are not going to be comfortable shaking you or sitting closer to you. Or if you are the type that is walking on your face with all kind of commitment, obviously they will know that it's no longer working.
No longer working, yeah.
Yes. So those are the common symptoms, and it can actually lead to sometime condition that will make the person become bedridden.
Wow.
Yes, depending on the person's medical status. Some may be milder, some may be. So that's why the symptom to fertility ratio, they're still very, very low.
Okay.
But it should be able to keep somebody out of work. Yes.
Okay, so it doesn't mean that something can be done.
Yeah, definitely.
Before you, you don't need to pass on from it. Don't need to.
No, it's that the mortality ratio is a little bit low. And so, well, that's a good news. But that does not mean that, well, we should allow it just to go on and on. Yes. As much as it can create disturbance within a person and a group of person, it's a public health issue then.
So at what point do you need to run to the hospital to complete? Because the beginning is the headache, the muscle pain,
Yes, and the feverish condition.
Feverish condition.
Yes.
So of course you need to go into
Definitely.
the hospital to
At that stage, you just have to take the right step and then go and assess a medical attention.
Okay.
Yes, you need to take that step.
Okay. So of course, when you start feeling the symptoms, sometimes some people might be taking some medication because of the headache and feeling that it's just listen, but the rashes is a pointer as well. That
Beautiful. Once you start having that muscular pain, malaria in itself may not give you much of that muscular pain.
Okay.
Malaria in itself will not present that extreme tiredness. It will not do that much. Depending on the way you have been having malaria, it may not give you that.
Okay.
But monkeypox will definitely give all those things.
So unusual muscle pain that's not normal. It's really excruciating and quite uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So should be a pointer.
Beautiful.
Then headache that's
fatigue
that's not headache that's not stopping fatigue. Should be a pointer.
Yeah, that is just dragging. They take some of the over-the-counter drugs, and then you are not having that relief.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But generally, when fever start building up over 2 days, you can't just ignore it. Because most malaria therapy or drugs, the effective ones, if you take any of them, within 24 hours, you should have a good relief from it, if it is malaria.
If it's malaria.
But with monkeypox now, of course, anti-malaria is not going to do the work.
It's not going to do the work. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go on a break now. And when we come back, I want us to talk about vaccines and treatment and what we have on ground. I don't know what is being done to control this so that it doesn't go out of control. Well, we don't know what is going on or what is being done to control it, but we'll talk about the vaccines, talk about treatment, then talk about prevention.
Beautiful.
How to avoid it, because that's very important. We don't want it at all. Although we know it's there, but we don't want it. So we'll be right back, viewers. Don't go anywhere.
Lord, you reign forever, you're the same. I got my Turugi mama. Hi everyone, my name is Frank Edwards. Keep watching ACNNTV. Don't change the dial.
Welcome back, viewers. Before we went on the break, we were discussing monkeypox, and my guest is still Dr. Chijioke Onwuchekwa. He's a clinical microbiologist. Thank you so much, sir. I think I've learned so much about monkeypox today than I ever learned in school. so, before we went on the break, we talked about mode of transmission, the symptoms that you look out for, especially with the headache, the muscle pain, the cramps that are the muscle pains that are really excruciating. That's a good time to go to the hospital and find out, check that everything it's okay. So, we want to talk about treatment. And of course, when you go to the hospital, they'll start treating you. They know what to treat you for. Yeah. But is there anything for the person to do, or the individual himself, when you get to the hospital? And
now, once a clinical condition is established in a person, and then diagnosis comes out, the first thing is the process of managing it, or what we might call treatment.
Okay.
Now, the beautiful thing about monkeypox is a self-limiting disease. It can actually resolve on its own.
Oh, really?
That's a beautiful thing.
Oh, wow.
It can resolve on its own. However, it is also advised that if there are underlying conditions with that monkeypox going on, that condition should be treated. Otherwise, that monkeypox can trigger off a complication of that other condition.
Okay.
That is one of the things. Because complications from monkeypox can actually be very fatal. Because monkeypox can actually create a complication of bronchopneumonia. It can also give rise to encephalitis. It can actually bring about, most of the time, bowel inflammatory diseases.
All right.
So looking at that, the primary thing that is done in most hospitals is, first of all, to manage any underlying condition.
Okay.
And then assist the person's immune system to build up. That will help in resolving that condition. Primarily, again, because there are antiviral agents that can put a lot of relief, can bring relief when it comes to monkeypox, particularly those who have not been vaccinated with smallpox. So, when you're talking about the advantage of people who have been vaccinated with a smallpox vaccine, it is simply that monkeypox and smallpox have some level of cross immunity.
Okay.
So it's been proven from some studies that 80% of people who have had smallpox vaccine tend not to come down with monkeypox.
Okay. All right.
So that is one. But in most hospitals that are well established, monkeypox can actually be managed, and the person will get out of it.
Okay.
In some remote areas, studies have been shown that the whole thing resolves on its own. And they continue with their life.
Their life, all right. Okay. So is there a monkeypox vaccine on its own?
No, there's not been one developed now, but effort is on the way to make sure they build up one, okay?
All right.
Yeah. The beautiful thing again is that the attenuated smallpox vaccine is still available, not the old one.
Okay.
Attenuation is that, look, they try to review it, and that's what is called the Ankara strain.
Okay.
Yes. Those who have actually had that jab, most of them should be above 40 now.
Yeah.
They should be above 40 because the vaccination against smallpox started maybe 1980 or 81. The last recorded incidence of case of smallpox was in Somalia in 1977. So, but the vaccination ended about 1980 or 81. So, invariably, those who have that vaccine should be above 40 now.
Yeah.
And interestingly, they are not within the age bracket of people coming down with it.
Oh, right. Wow.
Yes, they're not within.
Oh, of
They are
course.
mostly younger people.
Younger people that were coming down.
Yes.
So, do you need to go and take another jab if you're over 40? Do you need
no,
it?
you don't, you
Is
don't
it
need
necessary?
that. I remember when vaccines are developed, they also have a lifespan. When you develop vaccine, there are those that tend to give a lifelong immunity.
Okay.
There are those that don't have that same capacity. So particularly when you develop a vaccine meant to work with the body immune system over time, you are likely going to have a longer lifestyle of it.
Okay.
Yes. So that is a beautiful thing about the smallpox vaccine.
Okay.
I took it.
Oh, yeah, I think I did. I can't
So
remember.
it's still on. So that is a,
It's giving you the immunity that you
yes,
require.
yeah.
So we shouldn't be really afraid.
No, anything now, when you talk about monkeypox, it can complicate other diseases.
Okay.
So you don't want to allow the monkeypox to trigger off some other challenges. So that is why we should be concerned.
Okay.
And again, any condition that will keep somebody away from his normal
Life.
functional activity, you don't say, well, let's leave that alone.
So how do we prevent it? How do we stop from getting it? Because anything pox right now is not a good, does not sound good.
I agree with you.
Yeah, so how do
agree
we
with you.
prevent it?
Now,
I can almost say
primarily-
washing of hands.
Yeah, no, the
generally.
primary hygiene is something that can go a long way in preventing infectious and contagious diseases.
Yeah.
Our basic primary hygiene. Yes, wash your hand. And for no reason, out of desperation, you go to eat things that maybe they are raw, they are just coming, they are fresh. It's interesting to know that virtually every food that is eaten by humans is also eaten by animals.
Yeah, interesting.
So that tree where you go to pluck it, they also come around there. And animals by their nature, particularly the tree climbing animals, while they are eating, they're also defecating. They are urinating as well.
Yeah. They don't have control, they don't have a place.
No, they do
to go.
that.
They just
Monkeys
do anywhere.
from the tree can defecate. And so the excrement can drop on the fruits. So wash. And two, again, once you notice you are having symptoms of this thing, it's better medication and attention should be given to you. That's one way to prevent it, okay? And then the third thing, again, about preventing it is that, look, once you are down with it, isolation is also very good. It's also useful, it's also needful. So that if you've been sharing bed with your wife or children, at least the person who is down with this should go somewhere there, or they should actually make a separate place, because secretions from that same pustules and papules, they can actually infest the bed. And then vaccination, just as many are encouraging that, possibly that will also help in controlling it remarkably.
Remarkably at the
Yes.
moment. So vaccine, so we should do washing of hands, the washing
Yes.
of the food
Beautiful.
we eat. And then, you know, sometimes people along the road, you're traveling and you see them selling some animal and then you just buy it and don't even know where it's coming from. You just buy it and go home. Even the process of it staying with you, having the contact with you, apart from even cooking and eating it, the contact you have had,
It
and
should
you
be
don't
avoided.
wash your hand. So
All the rodent family and the squirrels, you know, they are more or less known now as a reservoir of this monkeypox virus.
wow, okay.
So, and there are communities where these rodents are part of their delicacy, they are their normal thing. You can't take it away from them.
Of course.
And so the only thing is that caution should be actually exercised when handling animals.
Wow. Okay, so we're wrapping up now.
Yeah.
And, you know, ailments seem to be coming out. We just finished COVID. Now the world is talking about monkeypox.
Yeah.
Nobody knows the next ailment the world is going to be talking about, and there are still issues that we're dealing with. You know, as even human beings, the ailment won't finish. They keep coming and coming. Whether it is human formed, whether it is naturally occurring, it's still there, and we're handling it. And we're Christians, and we're in this world, and this ailment is just everywhere.
Okay.
What should a Christian be doing now? What should they be looking out for? Because we're part of the whole thing. The whole thing, we are all, it's not different from somebody who's not a Christian. Everything, we're all part of it. So what should a Christian, what's that word of encouragement that a Christian should be? Because the world is really getting, the sickness is just too much. Yeah.
Now, the beautiful thing about any person who is in Christ is the fact that there's a peace of the Lord. And that peace comes by your relationship with Christ. The other thing the wise man says in the book of Proverbs, there are two verses, I can't really quote, but one, it says that a man's spirit sustains him in sickness. And another one, it says that a merry heart is like medicine. So when God becomes the center of your life, that is going to refresh your body. So if you build up a good relationship with Christ, I can assure you are going to be healthier. Two, if you maintain relationship with Christ based on what he himself has spoken in his word, that will also improve your body system. The other thing I tell people is that whatever your body doesn't require again to sustain it, put it away. What I mean is simply that when you discover that what we call our delicacy and your favorites are not necessary for you, don't go into it. Don't just try to say, well, this is our delicacy, our people will eat it with this. No. The more you take things that are essential for your body, you are going to be healthy. You are going to look okay. And the beautiful thing about the human body is that we also have our own line of defense. Infection doesn't just come in. The body will put up a fight. The more you live a life that is glorifying God, you're going to be healthy. You're going to be healthy. And the Lord Almighty, who watches over his people, he has a way of also giving us soundness of health. And we tell people that being in the faith as a Christian, it offers beyond just the spiritual thing, the physical thing, you also take care of it. And so that's why we tell people, look, the relationship we have in Christ, it defies even our body. It defies our body. And the Lord Almighty, who says that he that keepeth Israel neither sleep nor slumber, that as the mountains surround Jerusalem, so he surrounds his people. Likewise, he also gives you a defense against diseases. He gives you a defense against diseases. So we tell Christians, maintain a good relationship with the physical things that is required for you to do, which is wisdom. Practice it. The Christian should be somebody who is hygienic. You should have self-control.
Even if you read the scripture, you see when God was dealing with the children of Israel, there's a lot of hygiene. Don't pass your feces in between everybody. Go out and, there's a lot of... You should exercise self-control. That's why we say, look, that this fruit is fresh. It's unwashed. A man who is of self-control will not just go and pick it and eat. If you still know, this thing has passed through many hands. So you take it and then you wash it. That is one discipline that comes by the Holy Spirit. That is a beautiful thing that once we practice it, we're going to be healthy. The Lord has not forgotten us. At all.
Yes. The beautiful thing about the COVID is that those who were projecting the massive debt
Yeah.
in Africa, they were put to shame.
They're disappointed, yes.
Yeah, they were put to shame.
Yes.
And they saw us shoulder to shoulder in our market,
Yeah.
and we are not falling
We're
dead.
not falling dead.
Yes, they saw us even from afar, that we are still sitting and living communally.
Yeah.
And the death rate was just minimal.
Yes.
And sometimes it was even exaggerated.
Exactly. I
was even
believe that actually.
exaggerated.
Some of the figures are exaggerated.
Yeah.
But really, I'm really grateful for that encouragement, because there's so much going on. You know, there's the emotional part of ailments now. People having mental health and all that. Then there's the physical one. Before, the mental health wasn't that pronounced, but now it's becoming a big issue. And just think that's the activities of the devil, and we must know that we have the victory.
The beautiful thing is, you should also know, if you look at Philippians chapter 4, verse 8, they say, whatever is good, whatever is pure, whatever is noble, whatever is of good report, think about that. And that's one of the best approach when it comes to mental stability. So what consumes your mind, when it is true, when it is loving, when it is honest.
Yes.
So once you occupy yourself with that, you're going to be mentally stable. You're going to be mentally stable.
Well, the word of God is complete.
Yeah, you're going to be, that's the advice. And when the Bible, Paul was talking to Timothy, he said, God has not given us the spirit of fear. He has given us the spirit of love, power, and sound mind. So that's a beautiful thing about the Christian faith. So we can say that people who are complaining of mental instability, what is really consuming your mind?
Yeah.
Once you work on what should be in your mind and what God has prescribed for the mind, you're going to be mentally stable and mentally alert.
Thank you so much. I'm glad I had to take advantage of this moment to get those words from you, because I know our viewers that are watching, no matter the state or the fear anybody has, this is important. The word of God is important. Your relationship with God is important. You need it now more than ever, you know, to put you through. So there's no need to fear, no matter the sickness. We have God on our side. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on the program.
It's really a pleasure being here.
Thank you. I think I'm going to pull you back. I'm going to pull you back again so that you pay me another visit in the studio for more discussion. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
It's
good
here.
to have you. And thank you, viewers, for joining us. For the past 40 to 50 minutes, I've been discussing with my guest. We discussed monkeypox, and his Dr. Chijioke Onwuchekwa. He is a clinical microbiologist. Now, in the words of Dr. Chijioke, you know, putting the scriptures, Proverbs 18:14 says, a man's spirit will sustain him in sickness. And then Proverbs 17:22 says, a merry heart doeth good like medicine. I want you to take this word every day. It's scripture. A man's spirit will sustain him in sickness. So no matter what sickness you're going through, your spirits, which has the Spirit of God in it, can sustain you. And give yourself a merry heart, it doeth good like medicine. Thank you for joining us on the program. I believe you have learned a lot. If you have any of those symptoms, just don't forget to call into the hospital or visit the hospital so that they can check you out and then start treatment on time. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time. My name is Angela Emeka Evibo. Goodbye.